I started SAWA in last year, actually 27th of March of last year. So the training program was 3 months. Following that, I've been assigned to the investment center in Asmara, where I'm completing my national service until September. Okay, so SAWA. A lot of people, ask me questions. What were my main reasons? What is SAWA like? It's very difficult when you're raised in England for people to understand your I guess, inspiration for carrying out another service. I think for me, my reasons was that, even though we, as Eritreans in the diaspora, we pay 2%, we also have to remember that the youth of Eritrea, they're paying 100% or more with, dedicating their whole life, sacrificing the income that they can make, and with a very low salary. So I think it's our responsibility to level that balance with 2% increasing. Obviously, we can never get to 100%, but if we make that effort, they will also see that we're actually trying to engage with them, and we're trying to bridge that gap. So that was my fundamental reason for, for going SAWA. Now, question: what is SAWA? There's 5 words which you can summarize the whole experience. Hadinat, unity. Atsawulinat, resistance to all forms of adversity. Bitsainet, which is camaraderie. Nih, habo, which is biting your tongue, biting your teeth, and achieving your goals, basically. Not letting anything get in your way. And Tulfainet, which is sacrifice and dedication. So I'm going to touch up on these topics when I go through the stories and my experiences. Initially, my thoughts and perceptions prior to going, I'm going to talk about my thoughts and perceptions prior to going to SAWA. People will tell me, how are you going to cope with the food, the living conditions, the weather, the climate. But I guess if you've got an aim, if you've got a goal, you don't really think about the things, you just think about achieving what you want to achieve. So for me, I kind of brushed everything off, all the negative things I was hearing about, the gossips, whatever. I completely tried to ignore all those things. And I didn't want to set expectations. I wanted to go there with a clear thought, clear mind, clear strategy, just to achieve what I need to achieve. In terms of physical, mental preparedness, I guess 2 months, just stamina, building up my stamina, building up my resistance. These are the kind of things which I focused on. Mental preparedness, you just got to accept that whatever they give you, you're going to accept it. So it's more of kind of having no expectations. And any doubts, I guess, on a physical level, when I was young, I kind of had a slight heart murmur, so that was my only kind of issue, but that never became an issue throughout the training. Yeah. So, the first few weeks and the first challenges that I encountered in SAWA. Really, the sun, the heat, food, water. Well, water's good, but in terms of food, everything. First few weeks is quite challenging because obviously your body has to readjust to the climate, to the diet and everything. But you kind of overcome that very easily. My main challenge I experienced was people's perception of me. So, for example, in the first 2 days, each brigade has its own canteen. So you'll go into the canteen and there's 1,500 people there. On the 3rd day, everyone knew that I was from England. So their reaction was, some of us are trying to get out and you're coming here. What is your purpose? So you're sitting there eating food every day, everyone's staring at you, 1,500 people, even the trainers, the Alanti. And there's 2 ways you can take this, 2 ways you can go after this. You can either become demoralized and you think, okay, what the hell am I doing here? Or you can basically just go against the tide and say, okay, you know what? It's my opportunity, it's my chance to prove myself and show them that, I guess from their perspective, they see people in diaspora as big babies. They see us as really spoiled. They don't think that we can do anything that So they had this very low expectation of me. So my biggest challenge, forgetting the physical, is how I can overcome that and show them that we could, I'm able to do exactly what they're able to do, and excel and exceed. So that was an ongoing challenge throughout the 3 months training program. But yeah, in order for me to gain the respect, and once I'm able to do that, I'm able to bridge that gap between us and them. And then it's just about us being Eritrean. I'm from England, you're from Kashbarka, you're from this, and Eritrea, who are we, what are we? What is our aim, what is our history? And it's like a synergy, or you align your nationality. Okay, next, I want to break down SAWA in terms of day-to-day duties, just going to the kind of, it's broken up into, I guess, three different sections. A is the sports element of it, so you wake up 4 o'clock in the morning, run for 20 minutes, come back, exercises. It's not very straining at all. I think when I went, I was thinking it's going to be more demanding, but it's very, very kind of straightforward. You're running at 4 o'clock in the morning, the sun's not out, so the weather's very good. And then you come back to your base, you have breakfast, and for 3 hours it's weapons training. So Kalashin, Bomba, tactics, everything they teach you for 3 hours. You have lunch, and then it's marching, basically. Finish you about marching for another 2 hours, and then again, weapons training. Now, the way it's set up is they won't make you do a lot of activities during the daytime, because obviously with the weather, so they do take that into consideration. You're not going to be out in the heat, just doing crazy things in the heat, so that in one way is very good. The second element is matot. So every week, twice a week, you have to go 2 hours journey from Ajay to Wafur, Ginda'eh, which is similar to Ajay, Umni, and then you Sobra Umni, and they use that for construction. And different tasks, basically any salah, every week, twice a week, and it's just to prepare you for work and everything. And then the other element is the group Azab. So a group Azab, throughout 3 months, they kind of build you up to it. After 3 weeks, once you're kind of trained, every morning you're running, you get to a kind of fitness where they think they can go to the next level. What they do is you start on an 18 kilometers hike. First you walk 18 kilometers, carrying your bread, 5 liters of water, and so you do 18 kilometers. Water, always a matter of principle, you don't have to drink it, you have to carry a full 5 liters of water. And when you come back to base, they check it, make sure it's still full. And if you have drank it, then which is probably just sit, lie in the sun for about 20 minutes. And I guess this just teaches you net building up your resistance. So that 18 kilometers initially, they do it once, and then the second time you have to run it, again carrying everything. But this is the following week, and then that goes into 30 kilometers. So initially you walk 30 kilometers, again, and then the second time you walk 15 kilometers and you run back 15, and then the third time you have to run 30 kilometers within 1 hour and 40 minutes. If you don't make it, they do threaten you that you're going to do it again when you run. It's never happened. And then the third part of the group is 45 kilometers. So you do 2 types. One is Gobo, 45 kilometers Gobo Guzol, which is around 6 or 7 mountains, carried all your gear, 5-hour trek. And then the second one is Nahisa, sand, which is very, very tough because every step is like 3 steps physically. So these are the kind of group goes up. There was another 60 kilometers, but they didn't do it this year because it was just people who were feeling pain. And then the last element of the whole training is called Silti. Now Silti is military strategy, guerrilla warfare. So they take you to Baraha, out in the stick for 3 weeks. So on the night, they prepare you, you carry everything, your nakabret, your water, your cooking materials, everything, pots and pans. And you do a trek 5 hours in pitch black. And I guess one of the principles in their military, in fact, is they never tell you where you're going to go, what you're going to do. It's just pack your gear and get ready. And then tabegas, and and it's throughout, even the 18 kilometers, 30 kilometers, they never say to you, hey, tomorrow you're going to do 18 kilometers, and on Tuesday there's no schedule, there's no agenda. It's just one day you wake up and they say, get your gear. If you ask a question, they laugh at you because they'll never answer your question. So it's always just get ready and then tabegas. That's it. So we do trek 5 hours, and it's literally beraha in the middle of nowhere. So for 3 weeks, they break it up. You learn military maneuvers, how to attack an enemy when you get attacked, how to defend, how to find your location without a compass, using the stars, and also during the day with the sun. How to different maneuvers in terms of personal. So there's 8 different types of maneuvers, and you replicate an animal. So akaida dumu, akaida this. So they teach you how to approach an enemy without being seen, without being heard. So it's actually very fun. We played all these war games, and then on the and the other element of it is you after dinner, 7 o'clock, following dinner, you have to climb a mountain in the dark without a torch, and you have to build a trench. So from 8 o'clock until midnight, and then awudkas. In the morning, you come down and you start the activity again. So 3 weeks, very physically demanding. But I guess the main point is when you're all together, you're all tired, you're all thirsty, you're all physically challenged. It's more easier because everyone's in the same level. And the last element was so on the last day of Sinti is really the last day of your military training. After Sinti, the last day, you go back to base and you prepare for graduation, you prepare for the ceremony. But in order to do that, you have to pass this last final test, which they hold a beraha. And this is, they set up the groups in teams of 12, and they give you live ammunition, and you have to attack a mountain. So you cover, you attack, cover, attack, cover, attack. So you do this for 2 kilometers in the sun, but because with all the adrenaline, you're shooting and everything, you don't even think about your tiredness at all, because you're so into that zone, and it's very careful. You have to always go in the same line, otherwise if you step in front, someone can shoot you from behind. So you always you've got to take a lot of things into consideration. Adrenaline-wise, it's unbelievable. There's nothing which can describe that moment. Everyone just in the same zone, just I can't explain it. And then obviously, when you attack the mountain, you have to get to the foot of the mountain, and you run up and you shoot, and you run back to your position. So you do this for about 10-15 minutes, physically tired, but in the kind of zone. So yeah, that's the kind of day-to-day, the actual structure of Sawa itself. Key moments for me, I would say, one of the key moments is Gobo. So we embarked on a 5-hour journey through the mountains, and it was, it's very physically demanding. But at one point you realise, you've done 4 hours, you're nearly about to go home, you're physically tired, you're thirsty, you're frustrated. But at that moment, everyone is in the same zone, and it's you start to care for each other. You're very tired. Someone will take your gun, someone will take your water. There's a lot of sign that you really feel it, that camaraderie. It's very difficult to kind of put it into words. It's a very emotional thing, and I've never kind of experienced it at that level. Of course, you have your friends, you have your family, but when you're pushed to that limit and you're in that zone, it's very indescribable. I wish I could describe it, but you have to experience it in order to feel it yourself. So that was very important. And I guess at that moment, those 5 words I said to you before about Hadinat, that's when I understood it. Hadinat, unity, all coming together, different tribes, different characters, different religions, coming together for that one cause, and you create this synergy, this amazing, synergy when everyone is in one area, in one area of feeling and emotion. That's Awranat, which is resistance to all adversity, all pain. You understand that when you push yourself, it's only when you know. Once you push yourself, is when you know who you truly are. And it's a true test of your character, and it's a basis for your self-esteem, for confidence. Self-esteem and confidence, we're led to believe is something which you can acquire from external. But really, it comes from inside. And it's only when you truly know yourself that you're able to have that self-esteem and confident who you are as a person. So I realised that at that point. The Zainat, which I've already gone into. Habo, just biting your teeth, biting your tongue, and not caring about anything else, but just achieving what you need to achieve. To find that sacrifice, dedication, all these things are so apparent throughout the whole 4 months, and it builds up in different stages. And I think it's one of the greatest ways for personal development. You know, and again, that when you're completely tired, you know in the back of your mind that you're going to go back home, you go back to your base, there's water waiting for you, there's food. So there's an element of security. Now, the whole point is, you know, you've got to remember that during the armed struggle, and this is our brigade commander when we went back to base, you know, he did Akaba for us, and he went into different stories. So you realise that for us, it was a 5-hour journey, hardly no water, no food, tired, but we know we're going to go back to base, have a shower, you know, wash. But during the armed struggle, they would do double, without the food, without the water, and go straight into battle. So 8-hour trek, without any of the necessities, tired, go straight into battle for a day, with the risk of losing your life, and at the end of it, so at the end of it, there's no guarantee for their personal, but they're willing to sacrifice and dedicate everything for the cause, I guess. And that kind of gives you a sense. I mean, that whole experience, that whole 3 weeks, that whole 4 months, it's really an interactive museum. It's like a museum just to see what they went through back in the days. And it gives you a snippet, just a little snapshot of what they actually did. And that's all it is. It's just a museum, it's an interactive museum. And if you will actually feel it, you will actually, in your heart, see what was done for us to get our independence. So that was one of the key moments for me. Going back, actually, when I was talking about the perception, this is a great story. During the weapons training, they teach you how to throw bombs and everything, but because obviously they can't give grenades to everyone, our brigade, they do a show, they tell you how the bomb works and everything, and they pick out volunteers, for 3 people out of 1,300 people. They pick out the people. I volunteered to throw one of the grenades, against advice of my battalion commander, but at the end I convinced him, and he let me throw it. And that was one of the most exhilarating moments, just throwing the grenade. And from that moment on, I guess the others kind of saw me and they thought, okay, this guy's Dafari, okay, we can work with him, you know, he's not a big baby. So that was just interesting to see that change of perception from their side. And at the end, there's a competition. So when you come back from Simti, there's a competition for 1 week. So 17,000 students, there'll be a selection process. So from 17,000, they'll select the people who, based on their 3 months performance, selection process, and it whittles down to 13 brigades in the whole base. So from 13 brigades, there'll be 1 representative from each brigade, and then those 13 people will compete for 2 days. The competition comprises of sports, so running, push-ups, sit-ups. So you've got to do certain amounts within a certain time, and then those who get the most will obviously win that part of it. And then there's the shooting part of it, so you shoot targets, you get 15 bullets, and you fire. The other thing is military strategy, guerrilla warfare, it's a written exam, and you get tested on these elements. So in that competition, on the final day, I came 3rd out of the whole in a competition, basically. Finally, my lessons learned. I think in life, if you've got a clear aim, a clear goal, you have to stick to it. You have to stick to your principles. Against other people's judgment, against other people's what they think you should or should not do. If you really truly believe in what you want to do not listen to anyone else. Because only you are the one who's in charge of your own life in terms. And you have to prove yourself through hard work. You know, I don't believe in shortcuts. Hard work you'll always win with hard work. My company commander, Mara Haley, his name's Kane, and he was a very dedicated individual, very dedicated in what he did as a person. And he truly believed in hard work, you know, and just dedication, all you work and you will succeed. And his advice to me was, so daring at work, but in your normal life, humbleness, without trying to be on top of other people, because you know yourself when you work, You're doing it for yourself. You don't need to prove anything to anyone apart from yourself. So absolutely daring صراحة تفخر. أبهوت كاجن وتحتنا بالسب كله تحتنا. And also, the other thing he said to us was when we came back from one of the groups, everyone was really tired, and then we were told the following day we'd have to do tomatot, so we'd have to work. And everyone was starting to complain. And he turned around and he said, and that just had a certain impact. I don't know what happened. Everyone just, like that, just came back. And it affected every single person in that 150 units, and it did something to us. And it, back to normal. The next day, people were working, and I guess we were able to tap into that energy which we all Eritreans have deep inside us. We were able to tap into it, and it was a beautiful moment. The last thing I just wanted to say was on that, I think, just on a personal level, you know, in our society, we're always led to believe that money equals happiness, surround yourself with material objects. But in reality, it's complete opposite. I think it just diverts us from what we are as people. And it's only when you completely look deep inside yourself. For me, Sawa was, I guess, like a reset button. You know, like the old school typewriters, swing it back. And I pressed the reset button. And at that moment, I was able to look deep inside who I was as a person, reflect on my own personal goals, focus on my priorities. And I was able to shift my priorities because prior to that, you know, I did my degree, I did my master's, I was working in banking, and it was a very money-led environment, and it was just about money. And after Sawa, and when I was there in the mountains, just looking at the shooting stars, you know, you actually look deep inside yourself and you realise, okay, that is actually not relevant. You know, money is a tool, it's not an objective. That's how you should see it. So that kind of hit. It was a very, very big, inspiring moment for me in terms of that, in terms of my priorities. And I guess it strips away all the superficial stuff that we led to believe will give us that happiness, that final joy, which we all seek, which is an illusion. You know, all that joy has to come from inside. Yeah, confidence, self-esteem. It's not internal; it's an external. So yeah, that's Sawa. National service. So I finished Sawa. I'm actually doing I've been assigned to the investment centre in Asmara. It's really an entry and exit point for all investment applications, registrations, permits. So everything is what's going to facilitate all kinds of investment, which is going to happen through Eritrea. So anyone who wants to submit a proposal, a business project, it goes through the investment centre. They liaise with the relevant ministry, depending on what the project is, farming, agriculture, so on. In terms of, you know, next step, if anyone was interested, what do I have to do? It's a very simple process. It's a matter of going to Lewis, Alasmara. They will sort out all your papers. They will liaise with the Ministry of Defence. They will do all your paperwork. Physical fitness, 1 month fitness training is enough. But I guess the good thing about the National Service is you're able to kind of pretty much choose where you want to complete your assignment. So based on your academic background or your work experience, you can say, look, I think I'd be more beneficial working within this area, and they will give you that opportunity to do that. So they are very flexible. And that's it. I'm going to do another presentation next door, so I can't wait for the questions at the end, but if anyone has got any questions quickly,
زيسقر حدري سخر أمنتنا أنت دتعري أنت دفقري شاينا كبصر عودنا عزفك خمار
أنت عدي شنن بلي تسلمي رجال المسير فخول لعبي مرعات مثلي
أنت بهجية مرعات مثلي مرعات عسلي بحشوش وبالي تخول علي دمغ مغبلي تول علي سوى بهلالو سور عدلنا عسل بهلالو عسل عسل عسل
أبسلو ناسنا